everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you wanted to join me today because I've been looking so much forward to making this video. I think that one of the perspectives that I have on sustainability is that it's all about balance, it's all about learning, and it's all about making conscious decisions, which means that they're not necessarily one right way of doing it or one wrong way of doing it, but there is a spectrum there. And I think that's just really something that's super interesting to discuss because I mean, we all have different kinds of information and opinions and backgrounds, and I think it's really, really cool. So we are going to talk about the labeling of products, and we're going to talk about why natural products are better and what kind of products are labeled as natural and why, and let's get into this. Before we get started, we have a sponsor. Bam, 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 bam. Shandel the Natural Warrior is a newly published work of fiction that concerns itself with environment and with the natural world, and I thought the Natural Warrior, that would be kind of cool to talk about in the context of this video because la-ti-da, it is a novel written by author Leslie L. Landis, and I just started reading it. I think it's really, really enjoyable, and I like when the environment and the natural world and sustainability are incorporated into works of fiction, and this is my second book that I am reading outside of university within this sort of topic. So I generally recommend that you guys check it out. There is a link down below. You can get it as a physical book from Amazon or you can get it as an ebook, and I choose ebook because otherwise if I were to just have every single book I've read printed, wow, gee, paper. But thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Now let's get right into it. So the word natural is defined as something that is existing in or derived from nature, that is not made or caused by humankind. So the way I see it, the what is natural and the what is unnatural is kind of open-ended. It's a very, very wide definition. And the problem with using words as natural when labeling products, and especially food products, is that it doesn't really require any sort of certification to use these words. However, there are lots of connotations connected to the word natural, so the effect of the certification is almost there without any sort of proof. And that's what we call greenwashing. Greenwashing is when you have a product or a brand that promotes itself on being greener than it actually is. So words like natural as well as green, sustainable, eco are words that we can actually just use without any sort of certification, which means that they are often put on products that aren't as green as they would want to be, because the connotations of the words are still there. When we think of something that's green and eco-friendly and natural, we have a certain image in our heads, and companies utilize that to sell you more products. We see it especially with food, that we tend to favor foods that are labeled natural over foods that aren't labeled natural, or grass-fed is also an example of this same kind of connotational greenwashing. But before getting into all of my issues, and we have tons, I would like to include the FDA's definition of natural, especially related to food labeling. Although the FDA has not engaged in rulemaking to establish a formal definition for the term natural, we do have a long-standing policy concerning the use of natural in human food labeling. The FDA has considered the term natural to mean that nothing artificial or synthetic, including all color additives regardless of source, has been included in or has been added to a food that would not naturally be expected to be in that food. However, this food policy was not intended to address food production methods such as the use of pesticides, nor did it explicitly address food processing or manufacturing methods such as thermal technologies, pasteurization, or irradiation. The FDA also did not consider whether the term natural should describe any nutrient or other health benefit. I'm going to give you a quick example. So egg production. This is going to be so horrible, so I thought I wanted to open with a pun. I don't know if that was bad. Okay, so egg production. When an egg is laid, that is a naturally occurring phenomenon because it is a result of the lack of fertilization. But the egg, when it's turned into a product, is a non-naturally occurring phenomenon. The hens in animal agriculture are generally bred to produce 10 to 20 times more eggs than their bodies are naturally capable of, or they would have been capable of without human interference. And that's not a naturally occurring process. However, the production methods with which eggs are produced, and I want to say produced, but that's a really gross word when we're talking about, animals, it's bad. but the products that are being produced in the way and in the scale and in the manner they are being produced is not natural. But as the FDA statement also sort of certified, that is not related to the labeling whatsoever, and that is no way that they can be held accountable for that sort of situation. They can use the labeling however they see fit, as long as the product in its essence is natural. Can you see how that can be a problem? Because natural as a labeling can therefore be used as a tool of deception, because the connotational value of natural means something that cares about the environment, something that is in a circle with the environment, like it's something that is naturally supposed to be there and thus we can use it. But that's not the case with animal agriculture. I would argue that the labeling of natural on products like eggs is faulty, and partly to blame for the disconnect between the consumer and the industry. Because the consumer has certain connotations connected to the word natural, and the companies are totally aware of this, they are selling a false image, or they are selling something that is not as natural as they would like it to be. Natural can thus be used as a faulty argument for something that is in fact quite harmful to the environment. Okay? Okay. So here's my problem with the natural labeling, because products that are actually impact neutral or lower in impact also use the labeling natural. Although the products might be significantly more okay, there is really no way for the consumer to tell whether a product is greenwashing or whether a product is actually being genuine. And that's the problem with greenwashing in general. That's really hard to figure out which products are okay and which products are not. But if you have a product where the production method is okay, the packaging is okay, the materials are okay, it's fair trade, it is sustainable and ethical in every sort of sense, don't use the word natural. I get why you would want your product to be labeled as natural, because that is what it is, but we need the sustainable and ethical products to create distance between the greenwashing products and the ones that are not. I know that is not at all that simple, but I think that's something that we need to see. We need to stop using natural as an argument for buying something. Which brings me to the next point. Jesus Christ, this is going to be... We use the word natural about something to say that it's good, as though something that is natural is inherently better than something that is man-made or synthetic. And that is not always the case. Sometimes it's the case, but I think that we need way more information, and we need to elaborate way more on these things in order to portray them as being better. Examples, I'm glad you mentioned it. So I recently saw this vlog about a woman who wanted to heal her body naturally, and therefore did not accept any antibiotics from her doctor, even though it was recommended that she did. And now I'm going to say something that's probably not going to be the smartest thing to say in a community that thrives so much on the love for earth and the natural state of it. But that's horse apples. So antibiotics, medicine in general, is not always natural. Sometimes it's synthetic, and it can save people's lives. I think arguing for the natural order rather than a controlled synthetic environment is not always the best idea. Natural is not always better for the environment. Natural is not always better for humankind. And I do believe that with the climate change we see and the natural catastrophes that we are witnessing right now, we need man-made and also synthetic solutions to those problems. I don't think that we are necessarily able to fix our problems with natural solutions. Some people also argue that the vegan fake cheese and the vegan fake meat that I love and I indulge in from time to time is also not natural, and that is a reason why they don't want to become vegan. This is one of these times where I can see that a human-made alternative is better than the natural thing. We see that animal agriculture are labeling their products as natural, although the production method is not natural, but there is something natural about the essence of it, and that is still way worse than just eating fortified foods. Okay? I don't know where I'm going with this at this point, but I'm just really angry. I know we're going to need some human-made solutions in order to solve our problems, and we cannot keep looking towards the natural environment to solve our problems for us, because that is not necessarily where the answers are hidden anymore. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero-waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!